Hi everyone. In today's session, let us learn to name organic compounds based on the rules that we studied in the previous session. So let's have a look at the first example. So this is the first example question. So the first step is to find out if there are any single bonds or double bonds between the carbon atoms. So as you can see in this example, you find that there are single bonds between these carbon atoms. But here we have a double bond between two carbon atoms. So it clearly indicates that the given example is that of an alkene. So the suffix used in this case is ene, E-N-E. Ene is the suffix used. Now the second step is to count the number of carbon atoms present in the hydrocarbon chain. So you need to start counting from the right hand side, because when you have a double bond or a triple bond involved, the carbon related to that bond should get the lowest number. So we start numbering from here: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here you can see that there are 5 carbon atoms, and at the first position we have a double bond. So in the case of 5 carbon atoms, the root word used will be pent. So when you join the prefix and the suffix, you get the name as pentene. You can write the name as pentene here because here the double bond is present in the first position, or you can also write it as pent 1-ene. That means in the first position there is a double bond. So the name can either be written as pentene, or you can also write it as pent 1-ene. So this is the second example question. So here you can see that this is the hydrocarbon chain that is given to us. The first step is to find out if there are any double bonds or triple bonds in the structure. So since there are no double bonds or triple bonds, it clearly indicates that the given compound is an alkane. So the suffix used will be ane, ane. Second step is to count the number of carbon atoms. So as you can clearly see that there is one functional group at this position. You have to start numbering carbon atoms from the right hand side, because carbon attached to the functional group should get the highest priority. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you can see that there are 6 carbon atoms. So the root word used will be hex, and alkane because there are only single bonds between carbon atom. Since there is an OH functional group indicates that the given compound is an alcohol. So the suffix used in the case of alcohol is OL. Now here when you combine the prefix and suffix, you get hexane, but since there is an OH functional group, you need to combine this suffix with hexane. So the E is removed in this case and the name is obtained as hexanol, or you can also name the compound as hexane 1-ol. That means hexane in the first position contains OH functional group. So the name is either hexanol or hexane 1-ol. Okay, the next example problem is this. So here you can see that there are single bonds between carbon atoms. There are no double bonds between the carbon atoms. And at this position you can find a functional group. Which is this functional group? C double bond O and OH. So the functional group here is nothing but COOH. COOH is nothing but carboxylic acid. So the functional group here is nothing but a carboxylic acid group, since it has C double bond O OH group. Now the next step is to start numbering the carbon atoms. So you have to start numbering from this carbon atom, because carboxylic acid functional group has to get the lowest number. So let us start numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. In total there are 6 carbon atoms in the entire chain. So the root word used will be hex. Hex is the root word used. Since there are no double bonds or triple bonds here between the carbon atoms, it will end with A and E. But is this the right name? No, because we have a carboxylic acid functional group here. So when carboxylic acid functional group is present, what should be the suffix used? It is oic acid, right? The suffix used must be oic acid. So you have to replace the E over here with oic acid. So the name of the compound becomes hexanoic acid. Hexanoic acid. You can either name it as hexanoic acid or you can write it as hexane 1-oic acid. Hexane 1-oic acid. So this is the next example. Here in this you can find that the carbons are arranged in a cyclic format. It clearly shows that this is a cyclic compound. So here there are only single bonds between carbon atom. So it clearly indicates that the given compound is an alkane. And the suffix used in this case will be A and E. Now you need to number the carbon atom. So you can number it from any corner because there are no functional groups. So I will start numbering it from here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are 4 carbon atoms. So since there are 4 carbon atoms, the root word used will be but. So it is nothing but butane. But because this is a cyclic compound, in the rules it was clearly mentioned that in the case of cyclic compounds, the prefix cyclo should be used. So the name of the compound becomes cyclobutane. This is the name of the compound. We shall discuss few more examples in the coming sessions.